Hey there, and welcome back to another video. I don't know about where you live, but here is definitely getting cooler out, and I can feel that winter hibernation mode starting to kick in. We've already put our garden to rest for the season. I'm sort of already missing the vibrant colors and beautiful sights that were present here just a few weeks ago. Here in West Michigan, where I live, winter can sometimes feel long and dreary. But I do want to give you some reassurance that just because it's cold outside, that doesn't mean that your porch can't stay looking great all season long. Evergreen porch pots, they're a simple and easy way to make a statement with your holiday decorating. What I love most about porch pots is that you can design them in any which way that matches your unique style. As part of our holiday market here at Two Sisters Flower Farm, we try and design our porch pots in a variety of styles so that anyone that shops with us can find something that they love. Here were just a few of my favorites from this past season. Now, today I want to walk you through the basics of designing your own holiday porch pot. So if you're ready, let's go. So before we get started, I do want to go over the supplies that you'll need to have on hand. Now, first off, you're going to need your container. For this video, I'm using this sort of plain 12-inch pot like you see here. But if you prefer something a bit more decorative or festive, feel free to swap it out. You can also design your porch pot, in a standard pot like this, and then take this pot and insert it into a larger patio container that you may already have on hand. Now, once you decide on your container, make sure that it's filled with some sort of dirt or potting soil. The type of potting soil that you use isn't all that important. Now remember, the evergreens and the other accents that we'll be using today, they've already been cut. They're no longer living, so we're not expecting them to root inside your pot. More so, we just want a sort of medium that holds a lot of moisture. You see, after we create our pot, we're going to make sure to consistently water our creation until the temperatures drop below freezing. Now, we're going to do this because we want to make sure that while the temperatures are still mild, that our branches are able to take up moisture as they sit in the dirt. This will help keep our evergreens looking fresh longer. And we also want enough moisture to be in our pot so that when it does freeze, our pot has enough weight to its base that doesn't get tossed around in the wind. Now, does this make sense? Okay, good. We're all on the same page. So we have a pot and some dirt. And next up, of course, we'll need fresh evergreens. Now, I'm going to be using a mixture today of white pine, some white cedar, and Fraser fir. I love how these evergreens, mix well together to create a very cohesive look. Now, you can truly use whatever you have on hand. So if you have evergreens on your property, feel free to forage. You can take the extra clippings or branches from your Christmas tree if you get a real one from the season. Or nowadays, you can often find fresh greenery at your local florist or garden nursery store. Now, if you're local to us here at Two Sisters Flower Farm in West Michigan, we do sell all of these elements that you see here today as part of our holiday market. So be sure to follow us on social at Two Sisters Flower Farm for all the details of our holiday market. And then I just have an assortment of natural accents that are going to add flair to my pot. So what you'll see in a little bit is that I have some pine cones, I have some faux berries that I'm using today because as I'm filming this video ahead of our holiday season, our real berries haven't come in yet. I also have some branches and some magnolia leaves I'm going to use. Now, you can get as creative as you like with the elements that add flair to your pots. You can use ribbon to add a splash of color. Also, birch logs are always popular. Really, whatever you like, it goes. There are no rules. Now, in terms of supplies, you will also need a pair of garden snips to cut your branches. Now, this is just a regular pair of $10 big box store snips I had in my garage. You don't need anything fancy for this project, but I do recommend snips and not scissors. Scissors just won't cut through your evergreens nearly as easily. And if you like, you can also grab a pair of gardening gloves. While the evergreen varieties that we're working with today are easy to work with, meaning they're not too pokey, they can sometimes, ooze sap from the branches as you cut them. Now, if you don't want to feel that stickiness on your hands, or if your skin is easily irritated, you may want those gloves handy to protect your hands. So let's start creating this porch pot, first by adding in our evergreens. Now, my porch pot is going to be seen only from the front, so that's where I'm going to concentrate my decorating. If your pot is going to be seen from all sides, then feel free to space out your evergreens more evenly around your pot so you get more of a full 360 look. Now, I always like to start my pot with some kind of draping element. It's going to skirt my pot, and so for that, I'm going to use this cedar. You can see how nicely this cedar just drapes, and that's what I'm really after. Now, I'm simply going to give my branches a fresh cut and then insert them into the soil however I like. Now, I like following the natural arc or the natural shape of my branch and just letting those branches sort of skirt around this pot. So I'm really going to build this up, a little bit. I want to make sure the edge of my pot is fully covered, as I don't want there to be any holes in my design. Now, once I have this complete, I'm going to focus on adding the bulk of my greenery, and I'm going to be using the Fraser fir specifically to give some height to this pot. And then I'm going to continue adding in more fir branches to really fill out this pot until it reaches its desired shape. Now, I love Fraser fir for this next step because it holds its shape well and it gives structure to our otherwise flowy pot. As you can see here, I'm really pressing these branches down, making sure that they are fully inserted into our soil. Don't be afraid to layer your branches. Here I have placed my tallest branches in back, and then I'm layering the shorter branches in front to add bulk. Now, if you don't have any shorter boughs, don't be afraid to cut your longer boughs into multiple pieces to have your evergreens go further. Now, last but not least, I like to add in usually another type of evergreen like this kind that I have here to fill in any of the spots that I've missed. Now, I also like having an additional evergreen variety. I think it really adds a bit of texture and visual interest to my pot. Now, don't be afraid to place your evergreens and step back. You can always change something if you don't like where it's placed. This is just soil that we're inserting our evergreens into, and they can easily pop out and be reworked into a new location if you don't like how something looks. So at this point, I will give our pot a quick spritz of Wilt Proof. Now this is just a spray that coats our evergreens with a protective moisture barrier. It helps the evergreens retain their moisture longer, and it's really my secret weapon in keeping our evergreen pots looking fresh all season long. Now if you're looking for this exact spray, I'll link it in the description box below, but it's something that I easily enough purchase off of Amazon. Now this next part is where things get fun, because now I'm going to add some accent pieces to give this pot that little bit of extra flair. Now today I'm going to be using some pine cones that are conveniently, already on sticks. And then I have some magnolia leaves and then some extra pods and berries I'm going to be using as well. And for height, I do have some dogwood twigs. Now the order that you put your ingredients in, it really doesn't matter. It's just more of doing what fits your personal style and preferences. I will say that when it comes to adding flair to your pots, I want you to consider the focal point of your porch pot. Now personally, I feel like when you use your accents concentrated to a single area, say the front porch of the pot, you create a lot of impact, more so than you'd likely achieve, kind of sprinkling your elements throughout the arrangement. So I'm going to focus my decorating to the front of this pot. Now with your accents, we're going to insert them the same way that we did with our evergreens, making sure that they are fully inserted into the soil so that when they eventually freeze, they'll freeze into place with the rest of the pot. So I'm going to finish this pot quick, and then I'll show you what it looks like once I'm done. And voila, there you have it, a fun and festive winter planter that will keep your porch looking great all season long. Porch pots really are that simple. This container, it's now ready to be set in your porch, and it's ready to be enjoyed by everyone that passes by it as you welcome guests into your home this holiday season. I don't know about you, but I've had so much fun creating this container with you all today. If you've enjoyed the content in this video, I would really appreciate it if you let me know by giving this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Also, don't forget, if you need a wreath to match your porch pot and finish out your porch decorating, be sure to check out this video next that I'll link in the end card here. Have a safe, healthy, and happy holiday, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye guys.